This year, we're working with Cathay Pacific with their waste management project. After thoroughly understanding the problem, we strive to come up with a solution that sticks with Cathay Pacific for our sustainability strategy, which is reuse, recycle, reduce, and rethink.
For better understanding of the problem, we have visited Cathay Pacific. There are three major departments that we have been experienced, and then CED department have taught us that the major restriction in galley design is based on the customer's experience and the limited space. ISD department has told us that the major restriction in waste segregation is the limited time and space. CPC department have given us better understanding in the meal flow of Cathay Pacific.
After our field trip, we developed our system map, which showed that the problem can be linked to many other aspects. So, for example, the difficulty in cup collection is not really just because cabin crew's tray is too small for cup collection, but also because cabin crew have limited time to do cup collection, customers are not well involved inside the waste segregation, and that cabin crews try to keep the aesthetic and hygiene on the trolley to make sure the customer experience is not affected, as well as the limited space inside the galley leading to unable of sorting of recyclables as well as reducing the use of SUPs. So for the three main issues that we have identified using our system map, the very first one is the difficulty in cup and plastic waste segregation. The second one is the lack of space inside the trolley. And the very last one is the lack of engagement from CX customers.
So this is how Super Foldy works. When we collect the tray back from the passengers, you can see that the lids are on the side. So the first thing the cabin crew would have to do is to deal with the liquid in the cup. We'll pour it in the liquid dispenser and fold the cup. Then the folded cup will be put on the side too. It's put into the trolley and the trigger is pressed. The SUP would fall into the SUP box. Then the platform is going to shift down so that it will make space for the next tray to get in.
Okay, so when our solution is integrated into the system, we impact four major components. The first one is cabin crew members. Cabin crew members are key stakeholders in the in-flight service, and through our solution, we increase service efficiency, their own comfort and health, and with this, we can influence the long-term recruitment of cabin crew members into the CX system. Next are the passengers. They are affected because of the sustainability process. We're also increasing their awareness, which is likely to increase their long-term behavior of sustainable actions even beyond flights. Next is the CX. CX brand image increases. We also increase our consumer base, knowing that consumers are also inclined for more sustainable actions. With this, it can increase our market competition with other airlines in the system and also set new standards for sustainability and waste segregation in the flight. Lastly, the environment is affected overall. We increase the amount of closed loops. With this, we decrease carbon emissions and then increase the overall development towards sustainable transitions.
Through a systems thinking map, which included various stakeholders such as government, NGOs, Cathay Pacific, as well as CPCS, different societal elements such as cultural factors, technical elements such as equipment and design specifications, but most importantly, cost factors and environmental factors such as reusability and recycling criteria, as well as costs such as manufacturing, purchasing, packaging, waste collection, maintenance, as well as fuel and operation costs.
In our thinking process, we noticed three main problems. First of all, some items such as lid and wrappers cannot be used at the same time. This will use single-use plastic, also known as SUPs. Secondly, some items such as tray and container has duplicated functions. This means extra SUPs have to be used. Lastly, the current containers are poorly designed. This means it requires extra SUP items to hold the food. As a quick summary, redundancy in the current system uses a lot of SUPs, and we are trying to reduce it as much as possible.
To solve these main problems, we came up with different design concepts. The first concept is to combine the lid and the utensil in order to reduce the use of single-use plastic. For this concept, we think of different ideas, including the utensils are embedded into the lid and pull them out when in use, or the lid can be folded into different kinds of utensils, or even making the lid into the shape of the utensils. The second concept is to simply change the material of either the utensil or the wrapping from single-use plastic into some more sustainable or environmentally friendly materials, including paper or bamboo. Last but not least, we have our final concept, which we chose to further work on, is to change the design of the containers by combining all of them together into one single bento-style container in order to reduce the total lid and also the wrappers of the utensils.
Now let's move on to the full loading process and workflow. Our team decided to use an elegant solution to store the full set of current meals and containers, named the bento. First, at CPCS, the current cold meals items such as salad, desserts, condiments, and bread are treated as usual in the assembly line. So they are laid out in a similar yet more compact layout compared to the current meal tray solution. Noted that the largest aluminium main dish is put in a separated compartment within the same cups. So using the large door, the boxes are loaded in 3 stacks of 13. In Eficots, 42 bento boxes could be stored using only 3/4 of the space. The compact nature of the dish allows 42 of such dishes to be put in the remaining quarter. A small door and the interlocking mechanism allows the one layer of 3 boxes to exit with some risk of moving the bottom layers. The large door is opened again in CPCS for unloading after flights. The mechanism provides a small handle for attendants to comfortably slide 3 boxes and AC release. Using a foot-operated pedal to drive a gear, the gear spins to drive the lift mechanism upwards. A separated pedal is for quick release of the lift back to the bottom for loading the boxes. The elimination of the top lids except for the uppermost layer, as well as the meal trays, leads to reduced overall weight of the meal sets, leading to incredible reduction of single-use plastic cover and lids.
Well, after the bento has been extracted, it will be given to the customer without the main dish. In its place would be a utensil. Well, then the second flight attendant from the other side would give the main dish to the passenger.
Sir, here's your main dish.
Greetings, we are Team 1 of ISDN 2200, System Thinking and Design. To tackle this problem of reducing single-use plastic for in-flight cabin, we came to the solution of Evoli, an innovative beverage trolley designed to reduce in-flight waste.
Evoli can be divided into 4 major compartments. First, the waste collection unit, where the food waste and containers will go after disposal. Second, the tray storage unit, where the tray is stacked together and stored. Third, the liquid disposal unit, where the 9-ounce cup and liquid waste will be disposed. Fourth, above them is a mechanism where the tray is flipped and waste is disposed. Next, we will show you the workflow of flight attendants using the Evoli.
Hello Team 3. So I want to ask you, how do you think about your design?
So we start from the literature review and also field trip. And according to these researchers, and we found that sorting is actually a very big issue that we can look into. That's why we try to make the sorting very easy for the passenger and also for the flight attendants, so it can be better reused in terms of the single-use plastic. And David will talk further more about our design details.
Yes, so we have this X-frame. So we have this X-frame design, and also the tray design, and also the tray storage design. And for the tray, we have three very little trays. And also it has representative clips, patterns, and yeah, and so it is fully utilized for the mechanism. And Andrew Zhong will talk a little bit more about the X-frame mechanism.
In this X-frame design, there are two rows of independent row of bearings allow the tray to roll through in two independent paths. In this way, and also in another way. The idea how our team generates the X-frame design majorly focusing on three issues. The first one is that this trolley needs to be multiple use. It should be used both in rubbish mode or in meal delivery mode. Therefore, the collapsible X-tray allows the mode transformation to be very easy. And in addition, this X-frame has two independent openings to let the tray to goes in, which allow two flight attendants to use it simultaneously. And in the X-frame, there are rubbish shade and also other mechanisms to split out the rubbish from the recyclable items, such as the small plates, to allow the classification to be done.
Okay, so in summary, we're trying to make this design elegant as possible without changing, without a big changes added to the system that currently the airlines is in. So I think that answers your question.
Second question is, do you think your design contributes to SUP reduction?
Sure, yeah. So our design aims to increase recycling of SUP through the collection of segregated and recyclable SUPs in the meal cart. So we believe that when we look at SUP reduction in the system's perspective, we realize that ensuring a closed loop actually helps reduce SUP because we're relying less on newly produced SUP, and we can ensure effective use of SUP that's already been produced and it's back into the supply chain of CX.
When we were studying the problem of SUP, we actually looked at the system as a whole. So when we came up with the solution, we actually put our cart idea into the map, and we thought of the interrelation between the different things that we have to think about. And I think that although it seems that it's not reducing plastic directly, the end goal will still meet the goal of SUP reduction.
Yes, and with our new tray design, we're actually engaging customers. So actually, as more focus is put on sustainability these days, there is actually a need to change the customer's behavior. So I think our tray's new design could be a first step to change the customer's behavior and break through this cycle of everyone has to contribute throughout this whole system. So yeah, I think our design is quite good in contributing in recycling SUP